Welcome to the maybe the shittiest and worst start to a video on whole YouTube. There's not many things that I can do on this earth, and I'm pretty much the best at everything. So this is a hard pill for me to swallow, that I can't come up with a decent beginning to a simple boxing video. So, and this will have to do. Welcome. I welcome you with open arms, with open pants, and if you have a rough time, you have a home here. You can come live with me. I can house you. I can feed you. I will pay for your living. Your pets can come too. So you will always have a home here. But I would like you to just watch these videos, not actually come down here. Yeah. There's a few things I want to say before we get to the actual boxing news. First of all, this isn't my first video. I hid my previous videos. I had 7, I believe. I wasn't happy with the direction it was taking, my channel. Because basically in every video the set was looking different. And almost every time it was worse than the previous one. But that wasn't the biggest problem. It was actually the fact that I was getting too fucking wacky. I was doing a lot of cringe activities. I was singing way too much, and I can't sing for shit. I was singing these Finnish old Finnish songs. I was talking about clumps of shit attached to my ass hair. I was talking about my possible alcoholism, which is still a reality. Those two things, actually, they aren't false. But, maybe I shouldn't talk about those two things that much. There's many sides to me, I'm turning 30 next year. Not next year. I'm still hung up on last year. So I'm turning 30 like within 5 months. So I am getting old as fuck. And, I'm in a lot of pain all the time. I am a certified lunatic, a doctor-approved lunatic. And in the previous videos, I wasn't on any sort of medication. Now, I'm on my happy pills. So to speak. So my focus is a bit better. I'm not as crazy as I was. Now I'm going to put up those videos again, so you can watch them. I'm going to do a separate playlist for those older videos. Yeah. Because there are some gems, funny stuff, mostly. But there are some boxing gems also. I predicted that Camposos would beat Teofimo Lopez. I predicted that Luis Ortiz would not stop Charles Martin in rounds 4 to 6, and I believe that fight ended in the 6th round. There's stuff like that. So I'm going to put them up again so you can actually see I know some stuff. And yeah, I've been watching boxing for 16 years, so over a half of my life, this shitty poor decision ridden life of mine. And I used to box myself for about 5 to 6 years. Now I didn't compete. I was supposed to, but then life happened, and I was more interested in women and booze. So that happened. I didn't have the discipline. Yeah, I am a fat man. That's, I have to address the fucking elephant in the room. I am a fat man. I've been fat most of my life, even when I boxed, because I'm eating this junk all the time. That's basically it. What the fuck? And my biggest problem actually now is that I finally figured out the lighting somewhat. And there's still some glare in the TV, but the biggest problem I have is that my computer is old and it's really dying, slowly dying. So I have to do these videos in parts. In the future I would like to do these long multiple hour long shows where I really go deep into the boxing stuff, and you can hear stories from my life and all that stuff. But for now I have to do these videos. I have to keep them in like around 30 minutes long, and I have to do this in parts, so I have to stop the video, then start over again, and then piece them together and edit the video. But that's I can adapt. Like, well, I don't want to dick ride any boxers, so I'm not gonna say the name that I had in mind. So yeah, now I'm gonna take a piss break, and then we'll get to some actual boxing stuff. Okay, let's get to the boxing stuff. I have some notes that I did late last night because I'm really having trouble falling to sleep, so I'm just awake all the fucking time, feels like. Yeah, few things I want to touch on. Ryan Garcia, 21-0 with 18 KOs. Wants George Kambosos Jr., who just beat Teofimo. Yeah, he wants Kambosos and believes he would knock him out within 7 rounds. Now, Ryan Garcia hasn't fought since January 2nd last year, so he's been out for over a year, and then he took that. Yeah, he made the announcement that he's going to get his mental health in order. So there's that. now it's known that he suffers from mental health problems. I believe he had some sort of an injury. Correct me if I'm wrong. And last time he fought Luke Campbell, and he actually went down in that fight. And Luke Campbell isn't that big of a puncher, but neither is George Kambosos. Anyways, I can't see him stopping George Kambosos within 7 rounds. I actually see Kambosos beating him in a close fight. But Garcia should just fucking fight someone. It's becoming ridiculous the way. Just hold on. I need my logo.
I need my belt. Give me my belt.
Who's that? Guess in the comments down below.
Yeah, I want my belt. I need my belt.
Yeah. He should fight someone because it's been going on for too long, this stupid ass shit. He's calling out everybody, then he's not, doing anything to actually make a fight happen. And it's not all his fault, of course, but it just seems ridiculous that he's calling out all these guys and nothing's happening. So yeah, but I think that's it's too quick for him to fight George Kambosos right away. Then the fight last weekend, Gary Russell Jr. against Mark Magsayo. I don't know how it's said, pronounced. I watched the fight back, and Russell is saying all this stuff that he easily beat Magsayo like 9-3, 10-2. You could argue that he won the fight. I didn't really score the fight. There were too many close rounds, but in my opinion it was really close, and I don't see any problem with the majority decision to give it to Magsayo. He was the more aggressive guy. He was pressuring, but then again, Russell should have got more credit for his defense and ring generalship. But it's anyways, I don't see any problem with the decision. I would have been okay with Russell winning too. Anyways, it's fucking impressive what he did. You can clearly see the point where his shoulder went, and I think he started fighting better after the shoulder went, because the first 3 rounds he wasn't doing that much, but right away when the shoulder went, he actually started landing more and being more aggressive. And in my opinion, he won that 4th round. It wasn't enough for Magsayo he had that one rally in that 4th round, but then Russell won the rest of the round pretty convincingly, in my opinion. And also the commentary of the fight, it's a problem in many fights, but you could really see some biasness in this one. Magsayo was getting a lot of praise and hype before the fight, and you can see that in the commentary. He was getting a lot of credit for shit he wasn't actually doing. He wasn't landing punches, but the commentators were calling them, you know, that's a great right hand, great left hook. A lot of that shit was actually missing. And I picked up on one point, you know, the point where Russel's hand, the shoulder went. The commentators were saying something about the great punch that landed, and they think, you know, Russel was rattled by the punch, when in fact it was the shoulder that went. Now I know they couldn't have known that at that point, but in fact Russel, when they showed the replay, Russel was the one that landed the better punch, a great counter punch. So that's bullshit. But you know, I don't know what's next for. I don't think Magsayo will, you know, rule that division 126. And you just have to imagine what Russell would have done if he was in full health. I wouldn't mind a rematch once, you know, Russell is healed up. Also, what else? Chocolatito Gonzalez, Roman Gonzalez, is fighting. God damn. The fuck? My eyes aren't really working. Ray Martinez, 18-1 with 14 KOs. The WBC flyweight champion. Now he was supposed to this isn't going well now. I'm really struggling. Let me just, you know, gather my thoughts. For a minute. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez is fighting Julio Cesar Martinez on March 5th. He's taking the place of Juan Francisco Estrada. Estrada was having some COVID-19 corona complications. Yeah. So he's fighting Julio Cesar Martinez instead. This is really not going well. I had to lower my Okay, so I took the piss break, which turned into a poop break. I'm really having some trouble with my anus and my bowel movement, but it's no wonder as I'm eating mostly pizza and spicy stuff and drinking coffee and beer. Anyways, let's go through some boxing news. First, Ryan Garcia, who is 21-0 with 18 KO. Excuse me, I'm really dying here. With 18 KOs. He wants George Kambosos Jr. next and believes he would knock him out within 7 rounds. I disagree. He has chances to win, but I think coming off of an layoff with self-admitted mental health problems. Did he have a injury of some sort? I remember reading somewhere that he has had an injury too. So yeah, last time Garcia fought, it was January 2nd last year against Luke Campbell, where he got actually dropped, but he ended up winning the fight by knockout. Kambosos, of course, himself is coming off that win against Teofimo Lopez, and the win is a little tainted because it turned out that Teofimo was actually having some really bad issues going into that fight. I have to say that in one of those previous videos that I've hid, I did predict Kambosos would beat Teofimo, but I didn't know the extent as to how severe problems Teofimo was actually having. Yeah, but I don't know, I would pick Kambosos to win that fight, in a close fight actually. Other news, hey, before we get to this newer stuff, last night I actually watched the Russel Jr. Magsayo fight back, and you know, Russell is saying all this stuff that he easily won the fight 9-3, 10-2, even with fighting one-handed, basically the most of the fight. So I watched it back. The second half of the fight I didn't watch it that focused. I had to do other stuff at the same time. So, but the first 3 rounds, Russell wasn't actually doing much, and I gave all the first 3 rounds to Magsayo, just based on the activity and pressure he was putting on. Now, Russell did show great defense, but not really anything else. And then in the 4th round, Russell's shoulder went completely, and in my opinion, he actually started, from that point on, he started fighting better one-handed, which is kinda crazy, but I think he felt the urge, and you know, I think he won the rest of the 4th round after hurting his shoulder. The commentary for the fight was fucking horseshit. You could clearly see that Magsayo was getting a lot of hype and praise before the fight. I don't know if it was purposefully done by the commentators, or did the praise and hype affect them. But even at the point where Russell's shoulder went, they were saying, like, someone was yelling, "Oh, great hand, Russell's hurt." Yeah, he was hurt, but he wasn't hurt from a punch. And then after the round, the replay came, And you know, before, right when the replay started, one of the guys was saying like, yeah, you can see the punch, and then in the actual replay you could see that Magsayo missed, and Russel actually landed a great counterpunch. And Magsayo then, I believe he landed one of those, kind of jabs downwards, here, when Russell was down, bending down. He landed a punch, but Russell was actually the one that got the best of that exchange. And then he, the shoulder went and he was kind of retreating. I don't know, it was a close fight. I don't have a problem with the actual outcome of the fight. And I wouldn't have a problem if Russell Jr. was, declared the winner. So, yeah, I don't see any problems with the official decision. But I can't see Russell winning 10 rounds, 9 rounds either. So, soy. Other stuff. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez is fighting Julio Cesar Martinez March 5th. He was supposed Gonzalez was supposed to fight or was it Juan Estrada, yeah, but Estrada was having some COVID complications. For Christ's sake. It's so fucking funny when I'm here all alone in this sad little house that I have, this sad little apartment I have. For fuck's sake. No one's missing me. No one's texting me, emailing me, sending me love letters. Nothing. When I start actually doing something, and especially when I start filming these videos, my fucking phone lights up with all these goddamn assholes texting me all the fucking time with nonsense. And some of these guys, they can't, write the whole sentence and then send one fucking message. No, they have to send every fucking word separately. So you get a total one sentence, but it comes in 20 messages. So your phone's going fucking crazy. Anyways, Chocolatito is fighting Julio Martinez instead of Estrada. Martinez is the WBC flyweight champion. He's 18-1 with 14 KOs. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good fight. Great fight. Nothing really much more to say about that. Let's see how that situation develops. Let's see what else. I actually lost my notes. My computer is such an asshole that it deleted my notes. So I'm just skimming through these news at Boxing News 24. Regis Prograis against Tyron McKenna and Sonny Edwards against Muhammad Wasim on March 19th. I don't really care about that one. Tyson Fury is frustrated with Anthony Joshua wants to know if he's stepping down or not. You know, this whole situation, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's frustrating me too, because I really want to know what the next big heavyweight fight will be. But I'm guessing by the looks of it, Tyson Fury would like to fight Alexander Usyk for the undisputed. I'm just going to read this to you. Fury revealed to his boxing fans know how this. I really hate this site, Boxing News 24. It's just, you know, that it's the first one when you Google boxing news, and they post a lot of stuff. They have many articles, but they have so many, spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes. They really show their biasness a lot, especially some writers, not all, but some are really visibly biased towards someone or something. Fury revealed. I'm just reading how it reads. Fury revealed to his boxing fans know how displeased he is with the situation with Joshua and White. Fury wants to know if Joshua will step aside, and the suspense is starting to get to the Gypsy King. If AJ doesn't step aside, Fury will need to defend his WBC strap against mandatory Dillian White if Joshua doesn't step aside. Needless to say, Fury doesn't sound eager to take that fight. Like many, WBC champion Fury wants to know if Joshua will be stepping aside so that he can battle Usyk for all four belts in May. Unfortunately, Joshua's angry post on social media on Monday suggests that he's not going to be stepping aside. Yeah, that was the £15 million rumor. There was this rumor going around that he's taking the £50 million, $20 million to step aside. But that's crazy. I know he has a lot of money already, but 15 to 20 million to just step aside and not fight someone. It's a lot of fucking money. I don't know. I guess he's hungry for revenge and redeeming himself. Tyson Fury asks, is Dillian White going to fight me? Is Anthony Joshua going to step aside? Let me know, because I am sick of looking at these bums. I'm sick of listening to their excuses. The time has run out of the bottle. You're all getting a good hiding, cowards. Oh yeah, that's... let's see how that stuff goes. I would really like to know too, who's going to fight and who. I'd really like to see the Usyk Joshua rematch, to see where Joshua is at. I think if that fight happens, he's going to lose again. I predicted that fight too, by the way. Well, I don't have any proof. I wasn't making videos back then. But, just saying, I just knew that Usyk would win that fight. Virgil Ortiz against Michael McKinson on March 19th. There's not much today. Boxing News 24 writer Sean Jones is asking, is Canelo Alvarez ducking Demetrius Andrade? And this is what I meant by the, showing biasness. It's the way they write. You could at least, word it a bit different, so you wouldn't show your fucking biasness that clearly. Anyways, just listen to how this is, written. It's become noticeable by fans that Canelo Alvarez has never shown any interest in fighting the undefeated former two-division world champion Demetrius Andrade over the years, despite the two fighting in the same weight class for long periods. It's become noticeable by fans has never shown. Yeah, he hasn't, but the way he starts this, it's little weird. The question is, why doesn't Canelo want to fight Andrade? Is it because he's a terrible fighter, or is it because he's just too much of a threat? Many boxing fans believe that the tall, powerful, slick southpaw Andrade, I don't know if he's that powerful, possesses all the elements needed to defeat the 5'8" Canelo and make him look silly in the process. The thing is that I think at this point in Canelo's career, he's so experienced and he has seen all the styles basically. It just seems that he's going to find a way to win every fight, and I'm not that big of a Canelo fan. There's something about the guy that annoys me, or he looks or something. Sean Jones goes on to say, if you watched Canelo struggle against arguably lesser fighters than Demetrius in Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant, you can't help but derive at the likelihood that Andrade would tear him a new backside. So basically it looks to some like Canelo fears Andrade and will do anything he can to avoid facing him. If that means vacating his WBO 168-pound title, that's a predictable move. Yeah, Andrade could potentially vacate his WBO 160-pound title and ask the World Boxing Organization to install him as a Canelo's mandatory at 168 with WBO. That's a WBO rule that if you're a champion, as in this particular situation, Andrade is a champion at 160, and then if he decides to move up to 168, he, basically, what's the fucking word? What's the word? I know bird is the word. Basically, instantly he becomes the mandatory for the champion at the higher weight. Okay. There's really let's check out some other sites. Boxing news. If there's something we could talk about. It's getting dark, too dark to see. Here in this cloudy, depressing Western Finland weather. It's so depressing here. Everyone's depressed and sad and just, on top of this sad weather, it's dark all the time, it's raining, either you know, snow, and but snow or rain, water. it's wet all the time, it's cold, it's dark, and on top of that it's the whole COVID situation, so you can't really go anywhere anyways, and if you go outside it's depressing. No, I'm just it should be another 2 to 3 months of this until the spring comes and makes things a little better. Boxing news online, let's see what they have in store. By the way, I'm just kinda this video, I'm still, you know, searching the concept, the way I'm going to do these videos. I think it's going pretty well. Let me know what you think. I think I'm pretty charismatic, fairly funny, and I'm actually, this time around, I'm actually reading some news and there were some notes I made, because in the previous videos I wasn't doing that very much. I was talking basically about everything else that's happening in this earth. Let's see. What's this one? There's really not much more to say. One more thing before we go, and I'm gonna haul all this fucking shit and junk back to their places and then go on with the rest of the day. I'm gonna because I can't do this every day. I can't, you know, set up this. I have a day job. I have a life. So I'm gonna do those whenever there's some sort of a boxing news that is worth covering. I'm going to just do those quick ones that, you know, many other boxing channel guys here on YouTube do. You know, those 5-minute long videos recorded with their phones, but I'm not going to record them with phone. Well, but you know, actually this video quality kinda sucks ass, so I might do some of those with my phone, because the phone video quality actually might be better than this Logitech C920 Pro webcam. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think this went well. Let me know what you think, and you know, if you like to subscribe, comment, like, all that fucking stupid shit that everyone tells you to do. Okay, bye then.